Every woman thinks she knows why she can't stop going back to a man, but the truth runs deeper than love. It's not always the man she wants. It's the addiction he creates inside her mind. And once that addiction takes root, logic doesn't matter anymore. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly why women get hooked, why they keep chasing what hurts them, and why the man who knows these truths will always hold a different kind of power. 1. She gets restless around you. When a woman is truly fantasizing about you, her body almost always betrays her before her mouth does. Words are easy to control. She can stay quiet, pretend she's not interested, act like you don't affect her. But the body, that's harder to fake. And one of the clearest signs shows up as restlessness when you're near. You've probably seen this before, maybe without realizing it. She's calm when you're not around, laughing with her friends, scrolling on her phone, sipping her coffee like life is just easy. Then you walk in. Suddenly she can't sit still. Her foot taps under the table. Her fingers play with the edge of her sleeve. She adjusts her jewelry more times than makes sense. It looks small, like nothing. But those little restless moves, they're her body's way of handling the storm inside her chest. Here's the psychology. Attraction creates a surge of energy. It's excitement mixed with nerves. And because she can't just pour it all out with words, her body leaks it through movement. Fidgeting, shifting, straightening her clothes. It's like her system trying to burn off that energy so she doesn't explode. Now, the important part. Watch what happens when you leave. If she goes back to calm, if her movements slow down, if that restless energy fades the second you step out, you were the trigger, not the room, not the situation, you. That's how you know it's personal. I remember a guy once telling me how confused he was about a woman at his job. He thought she didn't like him because she always seemed uncomfortable around him. She would drop her pen, laugh awkwardly, shuffle papers like she was nervous. He assumed she was avoiding him. Later, he found out she'd been secretly crushing on him for months. Her restlessness wasn't rejection. It was attraction she didn't know how to hide. That's the thing most men miss. They confuse nervous energy with disinterest. They see fidgeting as awkwardness. But in truth, it often means the opposite. She cares. She's aware. She's feeling something for you that she doesn't feel for others. And if you want to test it, create space. Watch her body when you walk away, when you're not in her sight. If she relaxes, you're the reason she was restless. If her hands finally stay still, it wasn't the environment. It was you shaking her inside. So don't dismiss it. Don't laugh it off. A woman who gets restless around you is showing you without words that her mind is already running through possibilities. She's not daydreaming about random things. She's imagining you. 2. She plays with her hair. Hair is one of the oldest tools of attraction. It's not just fashion, it's instinct. When a woman is thinking about you, her hands often betray what's going on in her mind. Watch carefully. She'll twist a strand, smooth it out, or toss it over her shoulder when you're around. To the untrained eye, it looks like nothing, just a habit. But the truth, it's her subconscious pulling you in. Think about it. Why does she suddenly start touching her hair mid-conversation? Why does she fix her bun the moment your eyes lock? She's not doing that for no reason. She's signaling without saying a word. Her fingers in her hair are really her mind saying, I care how I look right now because you're here. There's another layer. Playing with hair is often a nervous release. Attraction stirs up energy. She might not want to admit she's fantasizing about you, but her body has to do something with the excitement. Stroking her hair becomes her safe outlet, a way to calm herself while secretly drawing your eyes toward her face. Picture this, a woman at dinner with friends. Everyone's laughing, but when she turns to speak to you, her hand instantly rises to tuck her hair behind her ear, even if it wasn't in her way. That isn't random. That's her mind placing you in a different category. She's not fixing herself for the group. She's fixing herself for you. Men often overlook this because hair touching seems so ordinary, but attraction is rarely loud. It hides in the little repeated gestures, the ones she doesn't even realize she's doing. Pay attention to timing. If she adjusts her hair right after you compliment her or when you lean in closer, she's not just being polite. Her body is responding to you. And here's the test. Watch if she does this around other men. If she only does it when you're nearby, it's not a random habit, it's directed energy. Her mind is already picturing you, and her hair becomes the silent stage where attraction plays out. So next time you catch her fingers twirling a strand or sliding down her neckline while you're speaking, don't ignore it. That's her fantasy leaking into the real world. 3. Her eyes stay on you. They say eyes don't lie, and when it comes to attraction, that's absolutely true. A woman may stay quiet, she may act casual, but her eyes will almost always betray her. Notice the way her gaze lingers. It's never just 1 second too long. It's a second that feels charged, like she's seeing more than she's supposed to. She might steal quick glances when she thinks you're not watching, then look away shyly, but she'll look back again. Why? Because the mind follows where the heart is. Science even backs this up. Pupils naturally dilate when someone is emotionally aroused or captivated. That widening of her eyes, it's not lighting, it's her body reacting to what she feels when she looks at you. The strongest tell is when her eyes bounce between yours and your lips. She may not even realize she's doing it, but subconsciously, her mind is already imagining what it would be like to close that distance. That tiny glance is her fantasy breaking through her control. Let me tell you a story. A man once told me he thought a woman in his gym disliked him because she barely spoke, but he noticed something odd. Every time he finished a set, she'd be watching him in the mirror. Not for a second, but for 3, 4, sometimes 5. She wasn't being obvious, but her eyes couldn't help themselves. Later, he realized she was thinking about him far more than her workouts. This is how attraction hides, through the eyes. If she's constantly looking at you when she doesn't need to, if she holds your gaze a little longer than necessary, don't brush it off. That's her desire, silent but undeniable. 4. She moves closer to you. Distance tells a story. People protect their personal space unless they feel safe, curious, or drawn in. So when a woman keeps closing the gap between you and her, that's not chance. That's her body following her mind. Maybe she leans in while you're talking, even if the room is quiet. Maybe she sits closer than needed, brushes past you when there's enough space to avoid it, or chooses the seat beside you instead of across the table. Each time she moves closer, she's showing you something words won't. Think about it. Why would she shrink the distance if she wasn't interested? Attraction pulls her forward. It's subconscious. Her body is saying, I want to be nearer to you. There's a deeper meaning too. Physical closeness is linked to emotional closeness. A woman who leans in isn't just listening to your words. She's opening herself to you. She's making a silent statement. I'm comfortable here. I want to feel your presence more. This is why proximity matters so much in attraction psychology. Even when she doesn't speak, her position speaks louder. If she consistently moves closer, especially when she doesn't have to, her mind is already picturing more intimacy. 5. She starts mirroring you. Mirroring is one of the most fascinating signs of attraction. It's when she subconsciously copies your movements, your tone, even your rhythm. Say you lean forward during conversation. Seconds later, she leans too. You cross your arms, she follows. You take a sip of water, she suddenly feels thirsty. To her, it's not intentional, it's instinct. Her body is syncing with yours because her mind wants alignment. This goes deeper than just movements. If you show excitement, she reflects it. If you slow your tone, she softens hers. Mirroring is like her subconscious trying to say, we're in tune, we're connected. Here's a real life moment. A guy once noticed that every time he laughed a certain way, the woman near him would copy his laugh seconds later. At first he thought she was teasing, but it wasn't teasing, it was attraction manifesting through synchronization. So when you catch her reflecting your actions, don't ignore it. That's her mind blending with yours even when she doesn't realize it. 6, her feet point to you. Most men look at her face, her smile, her words, but the feet, they're the most honest. Unlike her expressions, she's not consciously controlling them. If her feet are angled toward you, even when she's talking to someone else, it means her focus is on you. If they point away toward the door or another person, that's disinterest. Simple as that. This is powerful because it's subconscious. A woman fantasizing about you will unconsciously align her body in your direction, starting with her feet. That's her mind showing you where her energy really is. 7. She touches her neck or collarbone. The neck and collarbone are sensitive, vulnerable areas. When a woman touches them around you, she's not just adjusting jewelry, she's exposing both attraction and nerves. Sometimes it's soothing. Her hand goes there to calm herself. Sometimes it's a draw. She's pulling your eyes to that delicate area. Either way, it's tied to awareness of you. If she does this while holding your gaze or leaning in, it's not random. It's her body saying, I feel something. That touch is her fantasy leaking into her gestures. 8. She blushes around you. Blushing is the one thing she can't control. When blood rushes to her cheeks, it's her body screaming what her mouth won't. If her face flushes when you compliment her, when you step closer, or when your hand brushes hers, that's not coincidence. That's attraction surfacing in its purest form. Blushing is honest, it's raw. And if she's blushing around you more than anyone else, her mind is already placing you in a different space. 9. Her lips betray her thoughts. Watch her lips. Does she bite them? Lick them slowly? Touch them when she's listening to you? Those are not meaningless habits. The lips are sensual by nature. When a woman is drawn to you, her mouth often becomes the focus of her body language. It's subconscious. She's drawing your eyes without even realizing it. The strongest sign is when her eyes shift from your eyes to your lips mid-conversation. That's not casual. That's fantasy playing out in real time. So if you notice her lips moving more than her words, don't mistake it as random. That's her attraction showing in the most intimate way. At the end of the day, addiction to a man isn't about the man. It's about what she feels when she's around him. If you can understand that, you'll see relationships in a new light. Don't use this to play games. Use it to protect yourself. Because once you know how the mind works, you stop falling into traps. You see clearly. And that clarity, that's where real strength begins.